Hey guys, so I just received the news that multiple Nintendo Switch 1 games will be getting updates for the Nintendo Switch 2. They are not substantial updates, but I did want to mention them anyway. And these are updates on top of the ones that were already announced for several Switch 1 games before that I did cover in the video yesterday. But before we get started, I wanted to thank everyone for helping me reach 30,000 subscribers, and as I promised, I'll be giving away a copy of Mario Kart World. To enter, include the word Stay Perky in your comment, and make sure you're subscribed. The giveaway will end on June 15th. But the first type of update that several Switch 1 games will be getting are compatibility updates. This is different than the day 1 update that the Switch 2 is getting that will allow Switch 1 games in general to be played on the Switch 2. That was an anti-leak measure that was kind of preventing some things from being shown. And of course, that didn't really prevent everything from being leaked out. And I do feel like it was a bit extreme of an anti-leak measure, but I do understand how day 1 updates work. I know some comments pointed that out to me, but I just felt that was a little extreme there. But these compatibility updates are different than that, and they include several games here. Xenoblade 3, Kirby Dream Buffet, Kirby Star Allies, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Brain Age. Unfortunately, I don't think this means that these will get a performance update, because Xenoblade 3 and Star Allies would really benefit from a better frame rate. Unless this kind of makes it so where they run better on the Switch 2 anyway. I don't know how that will work exactly, but from what they mean by compatibility update, it probably means that there were some issues with the game booting up or trying to run on the Nintendo Switch 2 with the method that they use for backwards compatibility. So these were probably just being updated to work normally on the Switch 2, so there probably wasn't really anything added here. It was really just getting them to run on the Nintendo Switch 2. But I know it might be wishful thinking, but I wish these games just ran a little better if you popped it into the Nintendo Switch 2. It would make a lot of sense, but I don't think that's the way things work, unfortunately. But these are just getting a general update here. But there are also a few other updates as well. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, of course, we know they're getting the Switch 2 editions, which will be included with Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. But another thing that they're doing is adding Brazilian Portuguese translation to the game, which I think is really good. It's definitely really good to add more accessibility to these games, more languages available. I think that is great that they're adding that. And this will also apply to the Nintendo Switch 1 version of the game. So, I mean, that would be egregious if it was exclusive to the Switch 2 version, because I feel like anyone should access that if it's a translation. So, it's definitely good that they're adding that to the Switch 1 version as well. And another game that was definitely surprising to see that will be getting a update for the Nintendo Switch 2 is Super Mario 3D AllStars. Like, you'd think Nintendo would completely abandon the game and just wouldn't care if, people still had it because it was a limited time thing. But they still are updating it, and it is another compatibility update, but this one actually requires the update to even run on the Nintendo Switch 2, which I think is interesting, and it probably has to do with the emulators, I'm guessing. So that might be, or the port of Galaxy on top of that, but that's probably why it requires the update here. It is a bit inconvenient if you don't have an internet connection available, but I can understand why they did this. There are certain quirks that they have to iron out here, so it is just interesting seeing 3D All-Stars get an update. I wonder if the GameCube controller for NSO will be compatible with it, if it will recognize it as a GameCube controller, because I know 3D All-Stars is compatible with the GameCube controller, but I mean, I'm sure it would work anyway, but I just think that's an interesting thought, like, since we're getting that now as well. But it's just kind of interesting to see this game show up. And then finally, one weird thing that I've kind of noticed here that is being fixed is with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Since they said that they're partially fixing a problem on Switch 2 where the screen flickers, that is weird. And they also said that they were only partially fixing it, and that another update will be released later to fully resolve the issue. I think that's kind of strange. Like, why not go through the effort of fully fixing it? I just think that's a little weird that they aren't doing that, because they were testing so many of the Switch 1 games for compatibility with Switch 2, but I'm guessing it probably wasn't too big of a deal to where they could just wait, but I guess it really wasn't, like, too big of an issue there. And then finally, Nintendo 64 Nintendo Classics also got an update as well, and it added the button mapping for both Switch 1 and Switch 2, as well as the CRT filter exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, as well as rewinding as well. A bit strange that those are, like, exclusive to the Switch 2, but at the same time, I can understand with the processing power that those would be exclusive and everything. But yeah, that's just kind of a basic rundown of the rest of the Switch 1 games that will be getting updates for the Switch 2. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!